client out too before I meet them, so I kind of understand where they're coming from. I did stumble a little bit at times during some of the appointments, but of course the other people didn't know what I was talking, didn't know what I was going to say, so I really looked at myself on a couple of things. I wrote about 3 more policies that week and did about 8,600 AP in my first month. So first week was really successful. In that first month of December, I did about $8,000 in annual premium, which blew me away, to be quite honest with you. It adds up really fast. And so after that, I looked at my wife. I said, this is going to work. So that's where I am with it now.
Right. And like we mentioned in the beginning, you now have a average, one of the things that experienced agents are probably very, very interested to hear about is how did you get an over $900 annual premium average? I mean, most of us agents, including myself, is much lower. We do a lot of singles and the occasional double and triple. We write a lot of $30, $40, $50 premiums and then get the large ones that drive the average up. But, you've done volume of business.
But
you're
in terms of my average, case size, so to speak, I'll be honest with you, I have sprinkled in there some pretty large premium cases that were in the, couple $1,000s a year deal. So that's probably skewed my average up a little bit. I would say without those, I would still stay in the 750 range probably, give or take a little bit on that. But bottom line is I just had some fortunate, big sales. But the key is keep your pipeline full, keep talking to people. If you're not talking to people, you're not selling. And also the area where I'm at is, I think, most of the time is fairly, okay, this is going to sound like an oxymoron, an affluent final expense area. It's kind of like a oxymoron, like I said. But it's kind of true. These people kind of know what they want. Everybody's pretty much, as you will tell people, that are on 99% of them are on fixed income, so there's disability, Social Security, disability, small pensions, things like that. So money is always an issue with them. And so that, to me, for the most part, they know what they wanted. They basically set the money aside to do it, and they did it. So I've been very fortunate from that perspective.
Okay, and so moving on here, part of the mentorship program, of course, is that I'm available to help you with product placement, carrier selection. As you've probably discovered, and most agents who've been in it as long as you have, you can't have one carrier to write everything to the best of your ability. You have to carry a quiver of arrows and with different arrows for different situations. So if you could, Chip, describe how I helped you over the phone as far as the tougher cases and how it was important to your business success in sealing deals.
Well, I think initially you had the right approach. Is when anybody new in this business, they're going to feel that they're drinking out of a fire hose. There's a lot of stuff coming at them. And you had the philosophy of, basically, let's start out with 2 carriers. You get appointed, and those 2 carriers can probably do 80% of the business out there. And learn those carriers backwards and forwards and sideways. So going into a house, when you start talking to people, you're already getting an idea based on what they're telling you from a health perspective, which company is going to be better for them. So that's always a nice thing to have in your back pocket. So in terms of sales assistance, from your perspective, you're always available to me on a phone call or a text, and so I was very grateful for that. And you really helped me understand this type of, insurance sale, how to approach it, what not to say, and what to say. So that's been very, very important to me, and the fact that you sent me initially some good information for me just to flat read and try to understand it and see the flow of things. And so your little scenarios that you gave in writing were really good for me. I really learned a lot. You started me out with 2 carriers, 5-star and Settlers, and you got appointed with them, and I learned their apps best I could. And as I said, based upon what I'm hearing in the health questions and the answers, guide me to which one of those 2 would be the best. And after I get comfortable with that, opportunities too. We started adding more carriers. So I think that you did the right thing with anybody. Start them out slowly. Don't give them too much because they can be overwhelmed and then get discouraged. And then that's not obviously the right attitude to have. But you basically said, let's move along slowly and steady. And it's worked out great for me, at least. I appreciated what you did. You also sent me an awesome spreadsheet showing me, the conditions of people, and based upon that, which carrier works the best. And so that was a huge thing to have that as a quote cheat sheet. I still use it today because there's always just some quick glances because there may be something that I've not come across or a combination of issues. A diabetic that had a stroke, or a diabetic that's got neuropathy, or somebody's had a stroke and has lupus. So there's a lot of things that you can combine in there to narrow it down into the FE company that you want to use.
Right. And the one thing I'll say about you, Chip, is that you have been exemplary in your usage of my ability to help you out. The one thing that in my opinion, what makes our relationship great, or any relationship with any of my agents, is that when you're in the home, you can pick the phone up and call me directly. Now, I may be running an appointment myself, but generally speaking, I get back to the phone or the text pretty quickly. And I know I can't remember any specific cases, but I know there's been a few where we've been able to get the right carrier and the right product to give the customer the best product, the best priced one with the best benefits. You're exemplary of what agents should do with their upline. You should have an active relationship with the person that's above you, because your upline, any upline, makes a cut off of your business, and you need to make sure that you're keeping them, you're holding them to the fire, and you're making them earn their cut of the business. But at the same time, it also helps you develop your game too as well. A lot of times, you'll get into an appointment, and you may not think there's an opportunity, and you'll just turn around and walk away. But when you keep an active connection with your upline, they may see opportunity where you see none. And in case in point, one of those deals actually was a referral from another agent of mine. He didn't realize that it was a pretty big universal life product opportunity. And we ended up, of course, mutually working on it together. And that thing turned into what was about a $275, $300 a month deal that, that he walked out on. Important to have that connection, and I think you've done and continue to do a real good job, because I got to earn, in my opinion, my cut of the business, but also that helps you, run a profitable business. So, continuing here, I think we did a total of 2 ride-alongs. We did one early in the beginning, and then I think about 6 to 8 weeks later. You may have touched on this a little bit. But how did you feel the ride-alongs were? And let me clarify for the audience. I have all of my agents, if it makes geographical sense, to come ride along with me. Really big advantage, in my opinion, for what I can do is I like to ride along with my agents in their territories. There's a lot, just like seeing an agent with experience run appointments, as far as being illuminating, as far as being teachable or learnable from. It's just as beneficial, in my opinion, maybe even more beneficial, to have your upline ride along with you, so he can, like a doctor, diagnose problems, maybe show opportunities where you didn't see any before, because you're on your home turf, you're in action, and having that help can make a big difference. So I'm curious to see what your thoughts were on the ride-alongs and specifically how it helped develop you.
Yeah, well, I thought they were incredibly valuable, and the fact is that you did. You sat there. One thing what I liked about what you did is you sat there during the presentation when I was talking, and you were, just nodding your head or whatever, but you weren't saying anything. Even when I got stuck, you kind of just sat back there and kind of see how I would recover. And to me, I felt very confident the fact that you were there, but also from the fact of that, yeah, I stumbled a little bit, but I can, get out of that stumble and move forward. And so that helps with your confidence in front of people. And as I said, you don't have to event, and the people that you're going to deal with, you got to understand that too. You got to be going into this knowing that you're going to see things that you probably have never seen before. You're going to be in houses that you never thought you'd ever walk into. And that is their way of
Right.
life. And so to them, it's normal. To you, it may not be. And the key is to keep a poker face on there when you walk in there and you see, I walked into a house and there was about 25 cats there. And I had never seen that many cats in a room. And so, but you got to, just sat down. Of course, when I got up, it looked like I was a cat because of all the cat hair on me. But the bottom line is you got to have confidence in yourself and knowing that to them, you are the expert. You're telling them what they need to do. Now, whether they're going to take that advice is another thing. But the fact is, they're relying on you to explain to them what they need. And that's a big key there. So our ride along is you basically, and then after each appointment we had, you sat down, we kind of did a debrief on it, what it could have been different or, other things that you may have observed. But for the most part, it was incredibly valuable because I'm in the environment that I'm going to be in, and you're sitting there and you're helping me with positive, enforcement, and it helps me learn and help me grow as an agent. So that to me is incredibly valuable, and you got to do it. You got to have your upline ride with you to see and make sure that because they're an outside observer. They can kind of look at it from a different perspective and give you pointers that will help you, and that's the key. Or tell you things that you shouldn't say, things like that. So it's a net positive all the way around. I know it takes some time out of your territory, but in reality, that's part of what you do is you're a mentor. And so part of mentoring is working with somebody in their environment and being able to help them out with that.
Right. Now, as we kind of detailed in the beginning, you have